I am Veronika Castro, the daughter of Erika Castro-Miles. My mother is convicted of, I think, second degree murder of Sergeant Daniel Baker of Dickson County, Tennessee.
All right, and she's serving. God, I'm totally blank your sentence right now. It's
Uh, she got 15.
15 years. Okay, that I was thinking like anywhere from 15 to 20. So yeah, that's right. That sounds right. Can you talk about the impact that this crime's had on your family, and then we can talk about Steven after that because I specifically want to ask you a few questions about Steven.
Okay. Me personally, it's had a really big impact. Not only aging out of foster care and having to go back to the town I grew up in without my mom, and then losing my first child in 2019 and not having her there for it. But also, it's caused multiple issues with me and the rest of my family. I rarely speak to both of my sisters. I haven't spoken to my grandmother in 6 years now due to it. Um, I would say the biggest impact that it had on me was probably aging out of foster care and then having to put myself through college and accomplish my bachelor's in accounting and business alone just to prove my family that I am capable of doing something with my life. Not having her there for the passing of my oldest daughter, Harley, uh, set me back a few milestones where I relapsed, got my head straight, put myself in rehab just so I wouldn't have to go and be where she's at.
And so, how old were you when she was arrested for these crimes?
I was, let's see, 17.
Okay, all right. And are you the oldest of your siblings?
I am the youngest.
Oh, you're the youngest. Okay. All right. Was it I forget who I met in visiting. Was it you or was it Brady? I totally forget now.
It was probably Brady.
Okay. All right. I totally forget who I met. It's been so long since I've been there. um so did you know Steven Wiggins before these crimes took place? I don't even know if like if your mom had introduced you guys being that you were so or you I guess you were younger than the other two girls, but did you
I
know him prior?
I actually did get to meet him. I actually had to put him in place for laying hands on my mother. I am what my mom calls a family protector. I protect my family with everything that I am. Even though I'm only 5'3", I took on my mom's ex-husband John. Stood up to Steven for laying hands on my mom. I got to meet him. Got to meet the sober side of him, and he's just a big teddy bear. He to me he wouldn't hurt a fly, and then it happened, and that's when I held a grudge for the longest time. Even with my mom, I didn't speak to my mom for I gotta say until my 19th birthday.
Hmm. Um, so you said that you got to know the sober Steven. Did you ever see him when he was like under the influence of everything that he was doing at the time? Because I know when he was arrested, he said that he told me that he was just shooting massive amounts of dope at the time. So did you know him when he was sober? Or
I only
when he
knew
was
him.
on drugs? I'm sorry.
I only knew him when he was sober. I didn't get to see that side of him. The last time I saw them was at my high school graduation. That was the last time I saw both of them.
Jen, you said what was the crime? This is Erika Castro-Miles' daughter. Remember Steven Wiggins and Erika
Oh,
Castro-Miles?
yes, 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 yes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, this is her daughter.
Okay.
So what was your first impression about meeting Steven, like the very first time you met him?
My very first impression was, I hope this man treats my mom the way she deserves. Um, the first time he ever saw me, he brought me a bouquet of roses and a box of chocolates.
Hmm. Yeah, Steven, from his photos and everything, he seems like a pretty intimidating guy. I can't imagine uh, seeing him like put hands on my mom or something like that. That'd be very intimidating. He's what, like 6'3", 6'4", something like that.
Yeah.
Amy, Marge, Jenny, or Jen, do you guys have any questions?
I'm still catching up with the case here. But thank you for sharing your story. This is fascinating.
Did you attend the trial? I'm sorry. I was in here and it kicked me out. I came back, it kicked me out, and I might have missed where you said that already.
You might
Um,
not be welcome here then, Amy. Just kidding. I love you.
Due to living in Missouri, I wasn't able to make my mom's trial, but I've watched enough of the YouTube videos to be caught up on all of it. It really sucked that I couldn't be there to see my mom go through that. I was there at her bond hearing. Uh, they didn't let me up on the stand. And so I didn't get to say what I needed to say on my mom's behalf.
Oh, interesting. Um, Kayla, a recap essentially, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, would be that Erika Castro-Miles, her mother, and Steven Wiggins were in a vehicle, and they were under the influence, and the cop came up to the vehicle on the passenger side of the vehicle, which is where he was, and he pulled out, I forgot what he said it was, but anyhow, he ended up unaliving the officer. It didn't happen like right there. The officer, there was a whole debacle, and he told Erica, run, and she did. Um, I will say that we had your mom on, and I have never like seen so many women mean girling, like going, "Oh, she's not taking responsibility. She's not doing this," and I was just like, "We don't even know the whole story yet." And then we got him on, and he verified exactly what she said, and I was like, "Yeah, you guys should have not been so quick to judge."
Yeah, it was, I think, let's see, I graduated high school May 26th of 2018, and it happened a few days after my graduation.
Oh wow! And he received the death penalty. What did she get again?
Just
15.
ask that.
Kayla, you could, I think, yeah, it's still on YouTube. You can look up Erika Castro-Miles on YouTube.
Yeah, I have a few interviews with Eric. I have an interview with Erica, then I have a joint interview with Erica and Steven that I released a few months ago that you can go and listen on YouTube if you want to. Then I also did an interview with Steven Wiggins as well. And yes, that is correct. He did put him in his patrol. Well, he put him in the patrol car, drove off, and then tried to burn the car. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. It was a pretty high profile case at the time.
Yeah,
And
I'll
there,
put it in.
there's a brand new
Yes.
law actually. I didn't even realize that there was a new law until Erica told me about it like less than a month ago, called the Sergeant Daniel Baker Act. And if you unalive a police officer, correct me if I'm wrong, Veronica, but if you unalive a police officer in the state of Tennessee, you give up your appeal. Your appeals are automatically taken away if you're sentenced to death, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
My what?
that kind of blew my mind. Your mom told me that a month ago, and I was like, "That's crazy." I'm sure that's like the only law for Tennessee, like in the entire country, because I've never heard of anything like that before.
Or anything that you came across in the media or sensationalism when it was a high profile case that you disagreed with, that, like, let's say a rumor or people were so set on that this happened? Is there anything that was kind of like lurked out there?
I was pretty much aware of almost everything. I've rewatched all the videos over and over and over again, and I've taken notes down and matched it up with all the other notes I had, and I did a lot of research on it. Due to me having to be on house arrest, well, protective custody in foster care when all of it happened, when they were doing the manhunt for Steven, I wasn't able to go to work, wasn't able to go volunteer at the rescue center I was volunteering at. I was basically just stuck at home on a day-to-day basis and watched every single news broadcast and everything else.
How
So
many
were you?
years does your mom have to serve before she's eligible for parole?
Let me check my JPay. Me and her email back and forth about everything.
Kayla said this case was 2 years ago. No, this case was in. Was it 2018 or was it 17?
2018. She said as of right now, the earliest she'd be getting out is 2027. The latest is 2031. So basically, from let's see, it's 2024, 2026. So basically, the earliest she'd be getting out is in 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes, Kayla, me and my mom, we email back and forth every day. We talk on the phone almost every day.
Do you talk to
That's
Steve?
good.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
Um, I speak with him. I've actually been planning on getting adoption papers and sending them to him because he is basically my father figure. Um, my
Wow.
own my own biological father has never been in my life. The man that raised me up and left when I was 10 years old,
Oh,
and I
wow.
Wow.
and so Steven's my dad. He was there when my own stepfather John couldn't come to my graduation.
Wow.
That's always been my biggest thing, and now I'm going to be getting married next year, and kind of sucks not to have both parents at your wedding.
Yeah. Why do you think this happened?
I honestly don't know why it would have happened. Steven, he's got a lot of mental illness, and so I feel that he was self-medicating.
Yeah. And don't we just feel like your mom got caught up in that? Like she obviously was there but wasn't exactly involved.
Yeah, she was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was still charged with second-degree murder in that?
Yes, second degree murder, and I think accomplice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why, because of
That
the
even
accomplice
led
liability.
that to be? There was nothing that led up for them to understand that, right? Like, it's not like there was something left behind where they had this plan to do, this was just on a whim.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and it was on video too that she was running away at the time. But I mean, she was technically at the crime scene, so I guess in a court of law, I guess that's you're an accomplice no matter what,
I
right?
understand like the guilty by association, but not for. I mean, that's insane. I do have to drop, but thank you for sharing your story. I'm gonna go look into it a little bit more. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
You're
All right.
welcome.
I'll be
Thanks,
listening in the
Jenny.
comments. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye, Jenny.
So, do you have any anger?
I I've went to therapy over it. I've vented. I still have anger because I had to, deal with the loss of my first child on my own.
Yeah.
Um, and so I have a little bit of anger that's slowly going away.
Yeah.
I'm a huge mama's girl. It's always been me and my mom against the world. And till this day, it's still me and my mom against the world.
Now, when she gets out, because hopefully she'll get out in 3 years. Where would she go?
She has been thinking about either coming to Missouri to be closer to me and my daughter or back to California.
Okay.
Can she do that if she's on parole? Like, or does she have to get like approval from her parole officer to actually do that?
I guess when she gets out, she won't be on parole.
Oh, that's awesome.
So she'd be able to go anywhere she wants. My only thing is if she goes home to California, that's where her drug problem started. And my biggest fear is she's going to relapse. She's going to get into more trouble. She has a bad ankle. No one out there is going to be on her about her meds or her ankle appointments or any of that. And I've always been the one to tell her, hey, take your meds, get to the doctor, get your ankle checked out.
Yeah.
So if she comes here, there's quite a few places I've been looking at for her, just in case she does come here. So, and she's got a grandbaby out here who's 3 going on 4 years old.
Throughout both of their trials, did any of your family have any interactions with the Baker family?
No. I know I reached out to Mrs. Baker to say my condolences and to just be there for her. But other than that, no.
Have you had anybody, I guess let me kind of explain what I'm thinking because I don't really know how to ask it, but um I've often said that family members are not um we have to consider them victims of what happened as well. Like, his family and her family, meaning you and your family. Have you had anybody like mistreat you because of your mother's conviction?
When I was living in Tennessee, Hendersonville, Tennessee, in 2019, I actually have had bricks thrown in my apartment window,
Oh God.
death threats left on my doorstep. I was being followed by officers to and from work, just being harassed by officers because of it. Since then, I have had extreme anxiety attacks every time I see an officer. Um, when I first moved out here, I had very long black hair. If I have long black hair, I look identical to my mom. And got detained, put in the back of a police cruiser because I looked like my mom. And
Mm.
it's been okay, got to do my hair a different color and cut it short. I've been terrified of police officers. Don't want nothing to do with police officers anymore. But it's come to a certain point. The county I live in here in Missouri, the police officers are amazing. They would my ex-boyfriend back in Kentucky, he would send them here for a wellness check over nothing. And, I would start shaking really bad. My voice would start cracking a little bit, anxiety attacks. So I had to get a little feline buddy wherever he's at just to help me get through that. So that's how it's been for the past 6 years.
That's really sad.
That is heartbreaking, and for no fault of your own.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I kind of like that you forgive the stepdad.
Yeah. Steven, my daughter calls him Papa. My grandfather, my mom's dad, he passed away when I was 11. And so it's okay. She's got Dan, who raised me from the time him and my mom got together up until the time my grandpa passed. And she calls Dan Papa. And then Steven Papa. She's got 3 grandpas. If Steven doesn't hear from me, he starts worrying. He starts freaking out, wondering if me and my daughter are okay. He's a gigantic teddy bear. He's a softie when he's not on drugs.
What will you tell your daughter about what's happened? How will you explain that?
What I would probably do is sit her down and explain to her what happened. And then as she got older, I would sit her down again and show her the videos just so that she knows why she doesn't have my last name.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm assuming that if he were to get out today, he probably would not do this again if he was not on under the influence.
Oh yeah. Me and his mom, we talk every day. Almost every day. Me and her. I call her grandma.
Oh.
So I've actually been working on getting adoption papers written up and getting them sent over to him, to Steven.
One of my older kids, he was adopted at 19 by my husband. It was an interesting process.
Oh yeah, and if I don't hear from him, and then because him, my mom, and my aunt and uncle, they all do a joint call together, and they'll include me, and I'll start crying as soon as I hear Steven's voice. And he'll ask me, he's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I haven't heard from you. It's hard not hearing from a man who you call dad." I've told my aunt, my uncle, and my mom. I told them, like, this is my dad. I was like, he came to my graduation. He bought me, I think he gave me $200 in cash for a graduation present, along with 20 balloons and a bouquet of roses for graduation.
What kind of things has your mom had to do while she's been in there? Like, have they ordered her any kind of like classes or anything like that? By the way, thank you, Sarah.
As of right now, I think she's only got 2 more classes to graduate for her GED.
Oh, good for her.
She's been doing a lot of classes. She's been going to church. They have this new job. It's a telemarketer job that she's doing. So they're keeping her busy, and that's what she needs.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I've actually pushed her. I told him like,
Is your mom angry at all?
I told her, I'm like, go to school. I told her, like, you dedicated your whole life to me and my sisters, and you put up with the sports, the go activities that we've had. I told him, like, you allowed my sister's friends to come over and call you mom. I told her, I'm like, you've done so much for me and my sisters. I told her, I was like, it's time for you to do something for you. I told her, I'm like, go back to school, get your GED. So she's got 2 more classes and then she graduates. And that's something I can say that I'm very proud of, is my mom graduating to get her GED.
That's great.
That's amazing. Yes.
So, Veronica, have you heard my interview with both Steven and your mom together?
Yes, I've listened to it, I think, 67 different times just to hear her voice.
Yeah, yeah. So, I want to ask you the same question that I asked them, and I don't mean to sound insensitive or offensive or anything like that, but you know the question I asked her about how she'll prepare herself one day for if the inevitable does happen?
Yes.
Have you thought about that, like preparing yourself for if and when that does happen?
I haven't really thought about it, but I can say that if that day does come, I'm probably going to lose it. Um, it's going to be hard, but I know I'd be able to get through it.
Yeah, I can't imagine having to prepare for something like that. It's pretty wild. I actually was just supposed to do an interview with a guy today, and they're locked down because they're supposed to execute an inmate in Indiana tonight. Um, which I didn't realize that they were still carrying out executions. I thought they were out of the drug, but I know Tennessee right now is all out of the drugs, right? That's why that there's like a shortage of drugs on what fulfilling the executions, or so Steven says. That was like 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, I think I have an email on here saying I think around June they're going to start um, ex- doing the execution dates.
Steven actually hooked me up with somebody who's on the short list. I don't know if he's actually scheduled to be executed soon or not, but his name's Gary Wayne Sutton. I'm sure he's told you about him, and a lot of people believe that he's innocent. And there's been a lot of news media agencies that have recently been covering his case, which I need to get with him in like next month or the month after. I might actually have him on a live to go over his case because it sounds pretty complex.
Okay. Yeah, they're going to start giving out dates in June or July of next year.
Hmm.
So, seeing that email from my mom, I shut myself away. I pushed my aunt and my uncle away for I think a month just to try and get over it.
Yeah, that would be difficult having to live with, especially the one being on death row. I can't imagine waiting to essentially die, a couple years or a couple decades from now. That would just seems like mental terror every single day, like 24/7.
Yeah. When my aunt and my uncle do the conjoined call with my mom and Steven, I don't even get to say hi, and my daughter takes my phone and runs off and goes and talks to Steven. And he'll ask her, how are you doing? And she'll go, I'm okay. Are you okay? Are you happy?
That's
And
cute.
She adores him. He actually sent her a wallet that he made with duct tape.
Hmm.
And so she has to have it under her pillow every night to sleep.
Oh,
Um,
that's cute.
she's got a picture of him that she puts on her pillow and goes to sleep with every night.
Yeah, Steven talks about her a lot. He talks about everybody a lot. Really, I try to talk to him at least once every 2 weeks, but my phone's always ringing from different prisoners, like all over the U.S. But
Yeah.
I like talking to Steven. Steven's one of the more he's. I talk to a lot of like weird people in prison, and Steven, I don't get that vibe from him. He's not like a child predator or anything like that. Like a lot of these people I talk to, he's quote unquote more like normal than a lot of the people I talk to. I can only say that about like a handful of people I talk to as well. But I like talking to Steven. He's a really interesting guy, and I like talking to your mom as well.
Yeah, my mom, she's got some screws loose up in her
Yeah,
head.
yeah. I think we all do though to some extent.
I love her to death, but some of the things she says when she's on the phone with me, sometimes me and her will have a one-on-one phone call, and she'll start talking about pickles, and I'm like, "What are you talking about, Mom?"
Hmm.
She's got some screws loose, but she's my mom.
Yeah,
But no, she last time I spoke to her, she asked me if I heard anything from my sister Brady. And I told her, I'm like, ever since the last visit that me and Brady went to see my mom at, I told her, I'm like, I haven't spoken to her. And, the only communication me and my sister actually have is sending updated pictures of our children.
hmm.
So that's the only time me and her actually communicate. Me and Tiffany, we haven't spoken in 5 years. No, 6. 6 years. Me and Linda, we haven't spoken in 6 years.
That's wild. I'm sorry to hear that, and that's all too due to like strain because of the case.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sure that's got to be tough because there's nothing you can really do about that. I mean, your mom is your mom. You can't really pick who your mom is, so that's kind of difficult.
Yeah, and I had a long email from her. I think a month ago, telling me that I've been her rock since she's been in there. When I was working in Tennessee, when I was living there and working, I was putting anywhere from $100 to $200 on her books to make sure that she got what she needed. I was ordering property packages for her left and right. I was doing everything I could for her while I was working out there, plus paying $1,000 in rent. So it was a lot.
I'm sure she appreciates that more than you know.
Oh yeah, she told me. I emailed her back and I told her like, you've been my rock for basically my whole life. I told her like, it's my turn to be your rock, your supporter, your fan. I told him like, I'm not leaving. I told him like, someone would have to do some real harm to me to make me leave your side. And I sent her a some lyrics from a song. It's when God made you my mother. I sent her the lyrics to it, and it made her cry. And she was like, you're the only one that actually emails me out of you and your two sisters. She's like, this is why you're my power of attorney.
Hmm.
So I told her, I was like, if you want to renew that paperwork, go ahead and put me down. I told her, I'm like, I pick up my phone every chance I'm able to. What are you four doing? What are y'all doing? I know, babies. Hold on. I got 4 baby kittens next to me. I'm sorry.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah, I became the crazy cat lady. I have 12 cats as of right now.
Speaking of kittens, do you know if the prison your mom's in has like a program for cats and dogs? Because I know at where she was when she was a safekeeper they did, but I'm curious if they do where she is now.
I don't know if they do. I know when she was at the prison before, back in Nashville, when they seized all of our dogs, when all this happened, one of our dogs were actually was at the Paul's program at that prison.
Oh,
But
that's
this,
awesome.
I have no idea if they do or not.
Yeah, when I visited that prison a few times when I was walking out to the building that your mom was in to visit, I saw a few inmates with dogs, and they were just like running back and forth and playing with them. Like that's really cool that they get to do that.
Yeah, I actually, one of the kittens, she's a polydactyl. She has an extra toe on both of her front paws.
Hmm.
And I got her because I know once my mom gets out, she's going to need some kind of companion. And so I got little Miss Anna that I'm going to give my mom.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, like a what are those called? Like a therapy dog type of thing.
Yeah, I'm actually going to get her registered as a emotional support feeling for my mom. Simba, my big boy, he's already my ESA. One of the sweetest cats. You know, he'll let you clip his nails. He'll let you clean his ears. Um, I have a steam brush that I got for him, and he'll follow you around until you brush him.
Um, does
Anybody
any
have questions?
or comments?
Yeah.
I just want to say that I think that given everything, like it's already amazing enough to go through school and everything else, but to add in all of this, it's just super amazing. And congrats to you for not giving up on yourself.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. There are not very many people that can come out of your situation um, on the better end. And I'm sure it's not roses. I'm sure it's a fight every day. I get it.
Oh yeah, the man that raised me, he'll start talking bad about my mom, and I'll tell him like, look, I got to get off. You're talking bad about my mom. She's my blood. Yeah, you raised me, but you left. You packed up and left when I was in school. You didn't even say goodbye. And I'll hang up on him and I'll cool off and I'll call him back. And I'm like, look, I'm sorry, but don't ever talk about my mom like that.
Can't say I blame you.
Yeah, that's right.
Same.
Boundaries are important. Protect your peace.
Oh yeah, and that's how my daughter is. If she hears me getting onto my mom about her ankle, she'll look at me, mommy, stop. That's my nanny.
Aw,
She's my little spitfire. I didn't actually believe my mom when she told me, when you have a daughter of your own, she'll be 20 times worse. I did not believe her until this little monkey came along, and man, she's got sass.
Yeah,
as a grandparent, just let me tell you that I fully enjoy that part.
absolutely, Amy.
I enjoy seeing that payback. It's like,
Hmm.
you go, kid.
Oh yeah, she's actually bloodied my nose,
Oh,
busted
God.
my lip. She's done a yeah, and we're actually about to find out if we're expecting on Christmas Eve, and I'll be able to tell my mom that.
Nice.
Oh wow! Congratulations. Hopefully you are.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
We've had let's see, I had my first baby at 15. He was stillborn. And then my little girl, my angel baby Harley. We had multiple miscarriages before our daughter. She was supposed to be a twin. I had a subchronic hemorrhage in my first trimester. And then last year we had a couple. And then a couple months ago we had one. So we've been through the ringer lately. um,
Wow, girl, that's a lot of trauma.
you know,
So sorry.
I've told my mom over and over and over again. I told him like, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you can get through all this, imagine what you could do.
Oh yeah, me and her. I've actually had the blueprints drawn up for the rescue center I'll be doing when my mom gets out. Um, it's going to be named Harley's Butterfly Kisses Rescue. And on one side, it's going to be for animals that either have a disability or have been abused, so on and so forth. And the other side, it's going to be for domestic violence survivors to help them get back on their feet. And in the very back, there's going to be cabins for parolees to come live and make money while working at the rescue.
Nice.
That's a great idea, actually.
So here's a question. So do you think you would be doing that if you had not been through what you went through?
Yeah. Just like my mom, I'm more of an animal person than a people person. I would actually jump into the pit bull fighting rings and rescue the bait dogs that were being attacked and rehabilitate them, get them into new homes. When I was in foster care, I was volunteering at a wildlife rehabilitation center and a rescue. And that helped me get through. Let's see, I ended up in foster care in 2015, aged out in 2018. Didn't get to the last foster home till I want to say 2017. So it helped me through the last year of foster care, and I went there every single day, even after work. I worked from, let's see, weekends 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and I'd still go at 10 o'clock at night and do the feedings and everything. I love animals half to death. I actually have a few stray cats outside that I feed. So.
Well, if anybody doesn't have anything else, I guess we can wrap for today. I appreciate you coming on and talking with us. Sorry it's taken so long to get you on, but I'm glad we were able to finally do this, and it was definitely enjoyable. I know your mom will be happy when knowing that we spoke and did this, and yeah, again, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Get them both back on.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be cool if we could get you and your mom on at once. That would be really cool. Actually, I'll ask her if she's willing to do that. If you're willing to do that.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, that would be cool. Hook that up, Andrew. Let us know.
Yeah, I will. I'll email her tonight and I'll ask her for sure. I'm sure she'll have no problem with it. The only crappy thing is where Erika is she can only get the phone one time because you know how women are with the phone, and there's always like a lineup behind her. She says everybody's always in line for the phone. So, but we can at least do a 30-minute session sometime with her, with both of them.
Definitely.
It was nice talking to you. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, you take care. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and I'm sure we'll chat soon.
All right. Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry
Bye.
Christmas.
Bye.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Unforbidden.